I thought the pandemic was going to ravage Africa the worst. Yeah, I won't lie, I was terrified. I was terrified for the African continent. You know, my whole life, I'd seen whenever there was a virus that broke out in the world, if it got to Africa, we got it the worst. I remember when it started spreading around the globe, I was getting ready for it. My friends from home were calling me on the phone. They're like, Trevor, are you seeing what's happening with coronavirus, my man? Are you seeing it? I was like, yeah, I'm seeing it, man. They're like, what do you think is going to happen? I was like, oh, man, you guys are screwed, man. Like, yeah, you guys. I was like, yeah, I'm in America, baby. I made the right choices in life. Turns out it was the other way around. Pound for pound, Africa did better than any other continent in handling the disease. Shocked everyone. What was even wilder was this. When Ebola was happening in Africa, the news always made it seem like it was Africans' fault for having Ebola. Right? Every time you'd watch the news, there was always a subtle level of blame that was happening in the news reports, right? They didn't humanize the people. It would always be someone random on like Sky or on the BBC. They'd be standing there. There'd be dead bodies piled up behind them. They'd be like, Sarah, I'm standing here in West Africa, where as you can see behind me, the bodies of Ebola victims are piling up. Many European scientists are asking if, unfortunately, these Africans have themselves to blame. They've been refusing the advice of the World Health Organization, not understanding the importance of distancing from each other during this time, and it appears that they only have themselves to blame. Diningpan, BBC, back to you in the studio. And I would watch this and I'd be like, no, Africans, why do we do this to ourselves? Why, Africa? Why? Why do we love doing this to ourselves? Why do we like kissing monkeys? The lips are so sexy. And then when COVID came, Africans used everything they had learned from every virus that they had to fight without the help of the West, and they dealt with it better than any other continent. Didn't get credit, by the way. Everyone made it seem like it was luck. That's where the world is lucky that Africans aren't spiteful. Yeah. Africans aren't spiteful people. Because I would have given anything to just see one African news anchor come out and be like, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the African News Network. Tonight, we are covering the ongoing coronavirus pandemic that is ravaging the Western world. Many African scientists are asking if these people do not have themselves to blame. Many of them have refused the advice of the World Health Organization, completely ignoring the social distancing measures. Some of them have even had to be shown how to wash their own hands. Savages. It appears what has been increasing the severity of this problem is the fact that some of them do not even want to wear masks across their face, saying, quote, I cannot breathe through this piece of cloth. This is commonly known by scientists as bitch-ass lungs syndrome. Back to you in the stereo, Chipua. I would have given anything to see that. One of the biggest side effects of COVID that I didn't expect is how stupid it would make human beings. Yeah, if there's one thing coronavirus did, it taught me how many of my friends are absolute idiots. Everyone studied at the University of Facebook. Everyone's a scientist. Everyone had a conspiracy theory. You know what happened here? The government did this. Oh, the government did this? Yeah, the government did this. Why? To control us. You thought this gave them control? You think governments wanted this? Which do you think gives a government more control? A population that goes to work, earns money, buys things that they can't really afford, so get into debt, so they have to go back to work, do more of the thing they don't really like, to get more money to pay the debt for the thing that they didn't really need, for the thing that they didn't need to afford, to get more money to go to the job, for the thing they don't like, for the thing that they didn't need to buy, to get the loan, for the money, for the thing that they didn't want, to get into more debt, to get the thing that they don't want, to go to the job that they don't need, for the money. But which do you think gives them more control? That? Or everyone just sitting at home with free money thinking about life. Everyone just sitting at home like, how come a weekend's only 2 days? It's the government's worst nightmare. Conspiracies were stupid. And here's the thing, I'm not against conspiracy theories, right? Please understand that. I actually like a good conspiracy theory. In fact, I think everybody should hold one. I think in your life, you should hold at least one good conspiracy theory. Yeah, keeps you on your toes. Don't just trust everything everyone tells you. You gotta have one. Like mine, my personal favorite, I believe that gluten is concentrated white privilege. You know I'm right. But COVID, oh man, the conspiracies were ridiculous. Especially because I know what really happened. All right, that's what frustrated me. No, I do. I knew exactly what caused COVID. I saw it coming and I didn't say anything. My bad, by the way. Yeah, it was too much wishing. We wished too much. I saw it coming. You know, when I was young, wishing was something that was special. Didn't happen that much. You had to have a special set of circumstances in order for you to make a wish. You'd find a clover with the right amount of leaves. Huh? There'd be a star shooting. Where? There. Too late. Oh, it had to be your birthday. They'd bring out the candles. And if you blew them all out, you could make a wish. And if you missed any, you died. But then people just started wishing for anything. Huh? Find an eyelash on their cheek. Make a wish. Do you know how many of these shits are on your face at any given time? People started just wishing on like the time, right? And be like, 11:11. Make a wish. That's every day. Twice a day if you live on this side of the world because people don't like big numbers. You can't wish every day. That's not a special occasion. But people did it. People were wishing. Everywhere you went. Even rappers got involved. Oh, I wish a nigga would. Would what? You can't just leave it open-ended. And that's how we got COVID. All our wishes came together. And they all came true at the same time. And that's what we got. Yeah, because COVID was essentially like an asshole genie that gave us everything we asked for. We all wished. How many people were rubbing that lamp at the beginning of 2020? Just wishing away like, oh, I wish I didn't have to go into the office every day. Oh. Your wish is granted. Yeah, you wished not to go into the office. You forgot to wish that the office wouldn't come into your house. Now you were stuck every day on Zoom, can't blink, gotta make constant eye contact. Yeah, Had to find the one corner of your house that made it look like you had your shit together. Everybody wished. And boy, we got what we wished for. How many parents were rubbing that lamp? Wishing away. Oh, I wish I could spend more time with my kids. Oh. Your wish is granted. Yeah. A lot of parents realize the only reason you like your kids is because you only know them part-time. You meet them in the morning, you send them off, you tuck them in at night. It's a pretty sweet gig. But the next thing you know, everyone was trapped indoors, 24/7. Ooh, it was so fun to watch the parents flip. It was so fun. Remember at the beginning, all the parents were there. They're like, you will not open the schools. My children are not going anywhere. I will protect them at all costs. I'm a mama bear and I'll protect my cubs. You hear me? You will not open the schools until the virus is gone. 9 months later. Those same parents were there screaming on the stoop, when are the goddamn schools opening? You can't expect me to spend all day with these kids. Who am I, their mom? They should be in school. The kids were there like, but mommy, there's a new variant out there. Listen, Timmy, listen, at some point you're gonna have to see what you're made of, okay? Either your lungs are gonna make it or they ain't. All right, buddy? Now get on out there and see what you're made of, all right? If Simba could do it, so could you. Hakuna Matata. Go on, buddy. Go on. We all wished. How many couples out there were wishing? Rubbing away at that lamp, looking into each other's eyes. Like, damn, girl, I wish I could be locked in a room with you all day. Girl, I wish they would lock us up and throw away the key. The things I would do to you. Oh, yeah? What would you do to me? Girl, I wish they would tell us we could only see each other all day. All day. Your wish is granted. A lot of couples learned a lot during the pandemic. A lot of couples learned a lot during the pandemic. A lot of people realized that love may be unconditional, but like has a time limit. Because I love you, baby. I just don't know if I like you anymore. It all started as so much fun, remember? Oh, in the beginning, it was like a sleepover. Oh my God, this is so much fun. And then the weeks turned into months. The months turned into years. And at some point, you'd be sitting in the house with a glaze over your eyes. And you'd hear them coughing on the other side. And you'd be like, yes. Oh, yes, Jesus. Take them now, Lord. If it's their time, it's their time. Let thy will be done, Lord Jesus. I could use the extra office space. You know, one of the things that saddens me the most about the world we live in is that we oftentimes don't have the luxury to process the whys. We know that things happen. We feel the things happening to us, but oftentimes we don't make the time or we don't have the time to process the why. Why were we so angry? Why did we fight each other so much? We had no compassion for each other. We were the worst of ourselves. And you know, if you ask me, it's because we were scared. As humans, we become so comfortable knowing that we forget how uncertain life is. We get taught every single day that we know. We get comfortable knowing, so you think you'll always know. And what's the traffic gonna be like? You know. What's the weather gonna be like? You know. Oh, it'll rain on Thursday. You understand what a magic trick that is? If you had that technology 500 years ago, you were like, oh, it'll rain on Thursday. People would be like, kumba ding dang ginga wan dang ginga kumba ding dang ginga wan ding dang kumba wan. We take that for granted, but it's also made us forget that life is uncertain. We don't know. The pandemic showed it. It exposed every single one of us. And I think the thing that we didn't take a moment to think about is the why. Why were we so angry? Why were we so frustrated? It wasn't because of movies. It wasn't because we couldn't go out to parties. It wasn't because we couldn't go to the mall or any of that shit. It's because we lost each other. I lost you. You lost me. We lost this. You know? That's the real thing people were frustrated about. And what made it worse was that governments made it seem like they knew. I think that's the thing that made it worse. They were so confident. They made it seem like they knew. They said it would be 21 days. 21 days. I will never forget that number. Because we didn't ask why. Right? We heard China building a 10,000 person hospital overnight. None of us asked why. We were just like, China. They love building shit. I remember how confident world leaders were as well. Some more cocky than others. One of my favorites was Prime Minister of the UK, Boris Johnson. Yeah, he was an interesting one. He went to a hospital during the pandemic and he was hugging people. Like right at the beginning, he was hugging people, going around hugging people. Journalists asked him, they're like, Prime Minister Johnson, do you think it's appropriate for you to be hugging people during a pandemic? He's like, first of all, everyone needs to calm down. This is not a pandemic. This is not a pandemic. Look at my hair. Do I look stressed? Everybody needs to calm down. Nothing. Everything is fine. Well, I can touch people. We're not shutting down. Everything's staying open. The pubs are staying open. The football's staying open. Well, if you excuse me, I have to go. He's just gone. He didn't give a shit. Huh? America's president. Oh, he was even cockier. Yeah. You see him when he came out? Donald J. Trump? Oh, he had all the swag. He was like, folks, we're gonna have it handled. In 21 days, the virus will be gone. 21 days. Some are even saying 20. That disease came and kicked Trump and Boris deep in the chest. Both men went to the ICU, almost died. Only reason they survived is because they're both heads of state. They gave them that secret juice. Boris, to his credit, he came out of that hospital like he had seen Jesus. He came from the hospital, held a press conference, shut everything down. He came there barely dressed. He was like, everybody, this is not a joke. I've seen it for myself. The UK shutting down. Please, the football's gone. The pubs are gone. Do not take this lightly. I've experienced it myself. I promise, this is not fun. I can't talk to you. I have to go. Please, I can't talk. I have to. And he was just gone. Gone. That man was terrified. I was half expecting coronavirus to come around the corner like... Trump, on the other hand, didn't give a damn. That man will die from being stubborn. He came out of the hospital, could barely breathe, but still held a press conference. Didn't even speak. He was just like... If I can do it, so can you. Oh, man. One of my dreams came true. I got to go to Switzerland for the first time. One of my dreams. If you don't know this about me, I'll tell you why it was such a big dream of mine, right? My mother is a black woman, Xhosa woman, from South Africa. I grew up in South Africa, right? Molweni. My dad is a Swiss man from Switzerland, white man, right? And so I never got to go to Switzerland. And then when I got the chance, I never really made the time, and then I couldn't go there. And then finally now, we went to Switzerland for the first time, and it was liberating. You know, because here's the thing. My whole life, I've always felt like my dad didn't really love me, okay? And then now, when I went and met him in Switzerland, I was like, no, he's just Swiss. They're all like that. It was a bit weird, though. I tried to surprise him, though. Right? I tried to surprise him by learning German. We hadn't seen each other for a while, and because he speaks German, I thought I was going to surprise him on the trip. You know, I went on Duolingo, did a bunch of studying, and I got to Germany, got to like practice the whole thing, got to Switzerland, I was like, oh, this is it. And I was ready. I was like, I'm going to surprise my dad. I planned to get to his house, knock on the door. He was going to open it, be surprised, like, oh, Trevor. Then I'll be like, Papa, ich spreche Deutsch. He was gonna be like, oh, ich liebe dich. Be like, die net op. It was gonna be a whole thing. I had it all planned out. Didn't go according to plan. I got there. He was surprised. He was happy. But as soon as I spoke, I was like, Papa, ich spreche in Deutsch. And he was like, don't do that. Don't do that, huh? No, don't do that. No. Learning German has been a weird journey for me. You know? Because I want to speak it because most of my family speaks it on my dad's side. But I've learned a few things about my German which haven't been great. I was in Germany visiting some extended family in a place called Cologne. Beautiful city. If you've never been, you should go. Stunning, stunning place. And one of my friends, Rolf, was with me in the city, right? And so one day Rolf turns to me and he's like, Trevor, you know, today maybe we should go have a traditional German meal, yeah? You want to eat something traditionally German? Yeah, we're going to take you, okay? And I was like, oh, that sounds amazing, Rolf. What are we gonna have? He's like, okay, have you heard of Subway? So I don't think that's German, Rolf. He's like, no, I'm just saying to understand the chain, right? Where you're going to be having the sandwiches and you're having the bread and you're choosing the toppings. I was like, yeah, no, Subway works, man. He's like, okay. So I want to take it to a German version, yeah? Better than that, better. Like with the best bread and the best meat, you have to go. And so he took me and he wasn't lying. And so we go to the sandwich shop. It's like 50 years old. Everything is in German. We walk in and I was like, oh, this is it. Might not be my dad's house, but this is where I can practice my German. And my friend Rolf looks at me, he's like, Trevor, would you like me to order? I was like, no, Rolf, I'll order the food. He's like, okay, you're going to buy the food? I was like, no, you're gonna buy, I just wanna order it. I just wanna practice my German. He's like, but they might not understand you, yeah? Because you know, German can be different. I was like, yo, I got this, Rolf, I got this. So I walk up to the counter. The woman was really friendly as well. She's like, Guten Tag, kann ich dich helfen? And I was like, Guten Tag! Ich will ein kleines Brotchen haben, bitte schön. Das schwarze Brotchen mit der Käse und das Schinken, bitte schön. Und gib für mich ein Pepsi Cola, danke. And she shat herself. I'll never forget the look in that woman's face. She was petrified. She stared at me and she was like, der schwarze Hitler. Which means the black Hitler. Yeah. The way I inflect on certain words has a certain Führer feeling to it, apparently. I was devastated. Rolf thought it was hilarious. The whole ride home, we're in the car, he's killing himself. Oh mein Gott, der schwarze Hitler. Oh, Trevor, can you imagine if Hitler was black? It totally wouldn't have worked, yeah? Like, Rolf, it's not that funny. I tried to learn German to connect with my family, and now I sound like one of the worst human beings in history. He's like, yeah, but it was totally funny. You should have seen yourself. It's like you are about to invade the meat section. Oh, my God. Oh, you should have. I was like, Rolf, it's not cool, man. I'm in pain right now. He's like, calm down, Trevor, calm down, yeah? Indulge me meine Schadenfreude, okay? He actually taught me a new word that day. Yeah, never heard it before. Schadenfreude. German word. Schadenfreude. Right? It means to take great joy in the pain and suffering of others. Fun fact, that word was never translated into another language. I wonder why. Pretty insane word, right? Schadenfreude. Why would you want that? To indulge in others' pain and suffering. Why would you? But then when I thought about it, I was like, it sounds terrible, but we all do it. Yeah, every single one of us in this room, we all experience Schadenfreude. You know? We all do. You know when you have Schadenfreude? It's when you're driving on the highway Yeah? And you're cruising along, everything's going well. And you look over on the other side, and the traffic is packed up. And you get that little feeling inside, like, I made the right choices in life. That's Schadenfreude. You know what Schadenfreude is? Schadenfreude is what happened when black women saw middle-aged white men crying after Disney said they were changing the Little Mermaid. That's Schadenfreude. That was one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. Grown men crying, this is ruining my childhood. They changed the Little Mermaid. She looks nothing like the original. Nothing? She looks nothing like the original? Really? Nothing? There is nothing that reminds you of the original Little Mermaid when you look at her. Nothing at all. You realize the only thing that changed is the color of her skin. This part of the color of her skin. The hair's red. The body is fish. That doesn't remind you of the Little Mermaid? That was the main thing that you recognized the Little Mermaid? Really? You know what Schadenfreude is? Schadenfreude is what everybody from Ireland and Kenya and Trinidad and Jamaica and South Africa and India all felt when the news came out and said, the royal family has bad news. Here's the thing people don't understand. People were like, no, are you laughing at this? Are you laughing at this? It's like, yes, first of all, but you're misunderstanding it, right? The royal family always gets sensitive about people responding to their bad news, but they don't seem to understand that's not really bad news. Every time the royal family wants us to feel sorry for them, is it really bad news? Huh? They'll be like, please, we ask you for your sympathy right now. We have lost Harry and Meghan. You've lost them? Like they're missing? No, no. Your favorite British couple has now become your favorite American couple. Oh, oh. The royal family has bad news. Is it bad news? Yes, it is. The Queen has died. Died of what? Finishing life. Are you kidding me? I'm not saying someone shouldn't grieve, but she finished life. Do you know how many human beings don't get to do that? She finished it. She died as queen. Died of what? Old age. That means you finished the game. Done. Credits are rolling. Buried with the jewels. Hashtag winning. You want the colonies to be sad? Those are their jewels. Africans were like, can we have our diamonds back? They're like, no, no, no. The queen takes them with her. You kidding me? People are like, well, I mean, this is not the time to be talking about her. You shouldn't be saying bad things about her. It's not, you shouldn't be speaking ill of the dead. No, that's exactly what you should do. Yeah, the perfect time to talk shit about people is when they're dead. All right? Can we agree on this in society? Maybe we should start being nicer to each other when we're alive, and let's talk shit when people die. All right? Do that for me, people. Do that. When I'm dead, say whatever you want about me. When you see me in the streets, just say hi. You know why? Because I'm gone. Like, oh, these people up there and they're dancing on her grave. Yeah, that's what graves are made for. That's why they made them flat. The whole point was that people could come and dance on them. Otherwise, they would have made them slanted so you would slide off. And even in that, the queen is winning. She's got some of the best dancers dancing on her grave. Huh? Could you imagine Africans coming in and they're just there, huh? Doing their thing. Then the Irish are like, we're up next. Hey, oh, save us some space on the grave. We've got the Indians coming in. Now it's our moment. Finally, everyone from the Caribbean, murder, she wrote. Give it up. One of my favorite things I used to love doing was watching horror movies and then judging people when they made stupid decisions. I love it. I watch horror movies, I wait for people to make stupid decisions, and then when they die, I'm like, you deserved it. Never makes sense. Never. You know, be someone being chased with like a guy in a mask and he's got a knife, right? The guy's walking, person runs to their car, they always fumble with the keys. Dead. What are you doing? What are you doing? If someone's chasing you with a knife and you get to a car, don't bother getting in, it's a waste of time. All you do is just run to this side of the car, and then you wait. They go that way, you go this way. They go that way, you go this way. Yeah, we can do this shit all day. People make the dumbest decisions in horror movies. I don't get it. My favorite is when people just have to hide. That's all they have to do. They just have to hide and shut up. For an hour and a half, they can't do it. Like in that movie, A Quiet Place. Have you watched that? One of my favorite movies of all time. Yeah? The one where the aliens, they don't see anything. They just use echolocation to figure out where everyone is. There's always the people hiding in the shed, just there like... You just have to be quiet, you can just chill. You don't just be there, chilling. You have to be sitting there playing Xbox quietly. No. There's always that baby. And there'll always be the moment where you can see the monster's given up. You know? The moment where the monster's like... And just as it's about to leave, just as it's about to go, there's always one idiot who jumps up like, I can't take it anymore! Come get me! Ah, dead. You deserved it. Because I never got it, right? I never understood. Why? All you have to do is wait. You just stay inside for long enough and the danger will subside. Why can't you do it? Why is it so hard to just stay inside? And then the pandemic hit. I was like, now I get it. Because we all hit our breaking point. Pandemic made people crazy. I thought we were all gonna come together. That's what I believed. From all the movies I watched as a kid, I thought if humans were ever threatened with an existential threat, we would abandon every single fight we were having and we would come together to win. You know? I thought if that virus came, we'd all be there. We'd be like, all right, no more racism, no more sexism. Let's do this together. And we'd go and we'd defeat the enemy aliens, and then we'd come back and be like, all right, let's get back to the racism and sexism. It's like in Independence Day. That's what happened, remember? Yeah, that's what I grew up watching. Everyone in the world came together to fight the aliens. We stopped all of our... There was no politics. There was no nothing. We unified and we won. And then in real life, what did? We fought each other and we lost. We were supposed to be a team. Will Smith was supposed to be our hero. None of it went as planned. I wonder if that's how the dinosaurs went out, you know? Maybe they just couldn't agree on anything. Maybe some warned the others. They were like, there's an asteroid coming down to Earth. Other dinosaurs were like, asteroids are not real. It's a hoax. And rocks smashed into the planet. Dust covered the globe. All the dinosaurs were running around in panic. Ah, the dust is everywhere! Wear a mask! Wear a mask! The T-Rex was like, I can't! We headed to Paris, France, to do shows. For the first time in my life, I was very excited. Always wanted to perform in Paris, didn't know what it would be, but can I tell you? Paris is everything they tell you it is. It is easily one of the most romantic cities I have ever been to in my life. I fell in love 1,000 times. I was by myself, it didn't matter. Yeah. Every night it was just me and those bed bugs, baby. I really enjoyed Paris because, you know, I got to meet Parisians in person. You know, not stereotypes, not things that you're told about them. No, actually meet French people, learn about them from them. And I learned some truly amazing things. For instance, the French have a very different relationship with work than the rest of us, right? In that they don't give a shit about it. Which honestly I found inspiring. Yeah, I feel like a lot of us have become a little too attached to our work, you know? We identify with our work. Have you ever asked somebody just randomly, be like, hey, tell me about yourself? And they'll be like, well, I'm an architect, and tell me about yourself. Well, you know, I own a hair salon, and tell me about yourself. Well, I'm a teacher, and tell me about yourself. And people will tell you about what they do. You know, it's become the thing that people focus on. The French don't do that. No. You'll never meet a French person who does that. You go up to a French person, you'll be like, excuse me, what do you do? Be like, oh, me, I go for walks with my friends, and, you know, I like to, eat good food, and you're like, no, what do you do for a living? It's like, for a living, pardon, okay, for a living, okay, no, I breathe, and, you know, I drink water, and, you know, of course I have to make love, you know. It's just a different way to be, man. You know, not being so attached to your work. It was lovely. I learned this because when I flew to Paris, my luggage was lost, right? Yeah, landed in the airport, and bags were gone, didn't arrive. I discovered this, obviously, at the carousel, which is one of those shitty things that airlines do to you. Right? They know your bags are not coming. Yeah, they know where your bag is every single moment, but they don't tell you. They let you stand there like an idiot with hope in your heart. They could literally come to your seat before you take off and just be like, it's not coming. Spoiler alert. But they don't. They let you take off with all that joy like an idiot. Whee! I landed in Paris. I thought it was the beginning of a great trip. I was skipping around. I had my full luggage swag. And I was like, I'm gonna get my bags, go into Paris, start exploring. Got to the carousel. I was like, full luggage swag. That's right. Let me get my luggage, everybody. I was like, excuse me. Make some space, please. I would also like to lean over the carousel. It makes the bags come quicker. Come on, lucky bag. I had full luggage swag. Bags started coming out. I was standing there judging them. Who still uses Samsonite? Where's my bag? Bags going around. And then new bags stopped coming out. I started worrying. Then at some point there were fewer and fewer bags. And I was like, oh, my bag's not coming. And I realized my bag hadn't arrived. It was terrible. I had the same feeling I had as a child when my mom would forget me at school. The exact same feeling. I was just standing at the carousel. I felt like I was that kid, 10 years old again, just like, no, Mr. Wilkinson, it's fine. You can go. My mom's gonna come. Don't worry, you can go home. She's coming. She wouldn't forget me. No, she's probably dead somewhere right now. She's probably in a ditch, lying dead. She forgot me. She'd forget me occasionally. And then I'd have to walk home. It was like an hour walk. And I'd get home. And she'd always have the same reaction when I walked into the house, because my mom worked from home. And so she'd have like a little computer where she'd be typing away. And I'd walk into the house and I'd close the door, be like, always the same reaction. She'd be like, no, baby, no. Oh, what time is it? And I'll be like, it's too late. I'm not gonna lie, I hated being forgotten at school, but I savored those moments. Because it wasn't any sweat, to be honest. Like, I liked walking, you know. It's not like I was stressed on the walk. Oh, I'd be kicking stones, singing on the way back, and then I'd get to the house and I'd be like, no, wait a minute. I loved it, because that was the one moment when I was allowed to give my mom unlimited attitude with no repercussions, none. Yeah, because when I was a kid, you couldn't just be like give attitude to your parents. Like, I wasn't a white child, you know what I mean? You couldn't. I had to watch myself. But when she messed up, ooh, I loved it. I'd walk in, she'd be like, oh, can you forgive me, baby? I'd be like, I'll think about it. So now, I had to find somebody to help me. I look around. There's an older French gentleman standing on the side. Gray hair, rosy cheeks, short little guy with glasses. And so I walked over to him, and he was wearing a red vest. And in French, it read, information. And then underneath in English said, information. I was like, phew. Bonjour, hello, hi. He's like, oh, hello, bonjour. I said, English, French? He said, English, yeah, oui. I said, okay, could you help me, please? My luggage didn't arrive. I would like to know, what do I need to do? He's like, oh, the luggage didn't come. If you go fine for that one, maybe you can put you, because different flight airline can be put on different ones. So you have to try to maybe go on different. Maybe they will come in for tracking, look inside the app, and that one you can be fine for you, because it's not the most different ones, because we are not in control with the airport, but these different ones they are putting in for the airline, they are in control, so maybe you can choose for that one. I was like, okay. All right, let's try French. Let's see what happens. Finally, we figured it out. He sent me off to a special area where you go and, I guess, make a report. And when I get there's another French guy who's behind the counter, much younger, right? He was like maybe Algerian, Moroccan of descent, but very French, cool guy. And he's behind the counter helping someone. He's like, okay, thank you very much, thank you. Next, please. And I walk up and like, hey, man. He's like, hey, what's going on, my brother? How are you, man? What's up with you? What's up? I was like, I need your help, please. My luggage, it didn't come. It's lost. He's like, oh, no, dude, your luggage didn't come. Oh, man. Did you look for it? So what? Yeah, that's the first thing I did. What, do you think I'm just here for company? Well, of course that's... Well, he's like, oh, no, just checking. Okay, so the bag is gone, it's totally... I'm like, yeah, it's gone. He's like, oh, man, that sucks, man. I'm so sorry for you, man. That's terrible. Yeah, so what do you want to do now? So what do I want to do? I said, well, I would like you to do something, like to... Can we like make a report or something? He's like, okay, yeah. You want to make some paperwork or something? It's for your insurance, so they can pay you for it. I said, no, it's so that you can find it and bring it to me. He's like, oh no, don't worry, man, don't worry. We are not going to find it. No, man. No, don't worry about that. No, you know, it's Paris, man. When the bags are gone, they are probably gone. Yeah, they don't ever pop up. Sometimes if you are lucky, but if it's not here by now, it's probably gone, you know. It's Fridays, there are some strikes, you know. Just you can leave. Don't even stress yourself. You can go. It's like, don't even stress myself. Yo, this is my luggage. This is like all my clothes. He's like, yeah, but you are in Paris. You need clothes? This is Paris, man. Come on, Paris. Go and buy some clothes. What's wrong with you, man? Chill. He was so confident. He made me feel like I was wrong. Like, I doubted myself. I walked away and I was like, am I wrong? Am I too attached to my luggage? He wasn't lying. Paris does have a great selection of clothing. I had to go and buy clothes because I had nothing for my shows, for anything. Right? And if you ever do go to Paris, take some extra money for the clothes shopping. It's amazing. And try and also pack an extra pair of self-esteem. Yeah, you'll need it when you shop with the French, because they're not your friends. Yeah, I've never been to a country where you are truly on your own when you're shopping. Like, you walk into a store, nobody helps you, nothing. You don't know who works there, you don't know who's doing anything. Literally, it's like undercover employee. You just walking around. It's like 20 minutes, nobody helped me. And then finally I started picking my own clothes. And then I heard like an annoyed voice behind me. It was like, "Can I help you?" I was like, "Hi, yes, I need to get a few clothes, please. My luggage was lost." And then Detroit, I got roasted more than I've ever been roasted in my life. Ever. I got roasted. Everything I chose came with a scathing review. I was like, "Yeah, could I please get this in a medium?" He's like, "Medium? No, you mean large or extra large, no?" "Yeah, no, this one is the medium for your body. I don't think so, no?" I was like, "I'm sorry, what?" He's like, "No, yeah, I think you are large, extra. I can bring that one for you, okay? Medium is too much for the shirt, okay?" I'm like, "What?" Yo, everything. There's a point where there's a jacket I wanted to buy. I was like, "Yeah, could I get this?" He's like, "Oh, no, this one for your skin tone is not great. No, you have to think about what is complementary for the colors inside the fabric and also inside your face, okay? This one is not the best." I was like, "Yo, I already own something like this." He's like, "And you are wearing it?" "Well, not anymore." He's like, "No, you can wear it if you want. No, c'est tranquille, go ahead. I was like, "No, you threaten me now." They you know what, it's just different. A friend was like, "Dude, the French are assholes, right?" I was like, "No, I don't think that they're assholes. I think they're just very honest." Right? And a lot of the time, it's hard to tell the difference between the two. Because one day I was speaking to a French woman, and I worked up the courage to ask her. I said, "Hey, why are the French like this?" And she said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Like when you're in like a store, they seem very mean." She's like, "Oh no, they are not being mean, they are just being themselves, no? Maybe because you are used to coming in a country where people are, they are so afraid that you're not going to tip them, that, they are all on top of you. Can I help you? Can I help you?" But in France, we are making sure that everybody is getting like a good salary, a good wage. So we are not, so stressed about that, huh? In America, it's like, "Oh, the customer is king, But in France, you know what we do to kings. So, it's not the same here. The French don't play that game. I'm having more fun in my life now than I think I've ever had. I'm enjoying America more now than I've ever enjoyed it. Every day. I don't even know what it is. I think, I think it's, you enjoy a place differently when it might be ending, It just has like a different feeling to it. It's just like, what does that taste? The final season? Because you never know with America. You really never know. Every day is the best day and possibly the last day. I'm having an amazing time. I truly am. This year was such a blessing because I got to travel around the world doing shows in places I'd never performed before, places I've always wanted to do comedy. I've always wanted to try it out. Did shows in Berlin, Germany for the first time ever. That was really amazing. I won't lie, people freaked me out. People freaked me out before I went there. Like similar to Detroit, when people are like, "Oh, watch out, Detroit, watch out, Detroit." Like people were like that with Germany as well. Like when I was going to Berlin, people were like, "Dude, Germany? Do they laugh?" I'm like, "What do you mean? They're human beings." Like, "I don't know, man. Do they laugh?" People got to me. There was a point when I was heading to Germany where I was like, maybe Germans just sit in the audience like, yeah, that was a comedy show. But they don't. They laugh. They're actually great audiences. I had an amazing time in Berlin. It's a city that sneaks up on you because it's so culturally diverse. It has a burgeoning art scene. fantastic music. The history in Berlin is truly deep and rich. I love traveling and seeing places whenever I'm in certain cities. And in Berlin, I went out with like a tour group, and I had a great time, but I wish someone had warned me how painful a lot of like Berlin's history is. Right? Because that was basically the headquarters of the Nazi party. So like everything ties back to Hitler. I didn't know this. I thought we were going on like a cute little tour. I ask a lot of questions. I'm curious. This brought the mood down. And we're out and about. The tour guide was doing his shtick. He was happy as well. He was like, here behind me you can see this is one of the largest airports that was ever built in the world. Yeah, it is a world famous airport here in Berlin, and it is so large that they filmed the Hollywood movie, The Hunger Games, inside this airport. Yeah? Any questions? And I was like, yeah, wow, how old is this thing? He's like, this is almost 100 years old. I'm like, damn, and like who built it? Yeah, that is the unfortunate part of the story. This airport was built by Hitler. I could see I'd messed things up. I tried to bring the mood up. I was like, which Hitler? He's like, which Hitler? Which other Hitler is there? I was like, could be Henry Hitler. Henry Hitler? Who the hell is Henry Hitler? I was like, you don't know Henry Hitler? It didn't work. Like, yo, man. It was tense, but it was good. And what I mean by good is it was nice to be in a place where people don't bury their history. And what I mean by that, is that, like, when you travel through Germany, even if you don't go to museums, you cannot escape the past of both Berlin and what Germany did. There are monuments scattered throughout the city, prominent monuments. They're memorializing what Germany did to millions of Jewish people and millions of other people around the world. You see it, you understand it, they talk about it. They teach their kids about it. They teach children in school. They're like, hey, this is what Germany did. They make sure they know. But they don't make them feel guilty about it, which is a pretty amazing balance for them to strike, They'll say to the kids, they're like, hey, kids, I hope you understand. Germany did this. You're not responsible because you weren't there. However, because you're the future of Germany, it's your responsibility to make sure this doesn't happen again. You know what I loved about being in Germany when they were talking about their histories is how forthright they are about it. They know it's painful. They know that it's a terrible blight on who they are, but they don't hide from it. Like when I saw them doing this, I was like, man, I wish America did this with history. Because you ever see how awkward it is speaking about history in America? It gets tense. Doesn't matter what history it is, it gets tense. Columbus Day is one of those days. Every year in New York, there's a fight. Every year. Here in Detroit, there was a fight. There was a bust of Christopher Columbus that was around for 110 years. At some point, half of Detroit was like, we need to get rid of it. The other half was like, no, don't get rid of it. It was a huge fight. New York, same thing, every year. Columbus Day, Indigenous Peoples Day. Columbus Day, Indigenous Peoples Day. Yeah, there was an interview on the news I saw once. It wasn't supposed to be funny, but I found it funny. The reporter went up to some guy and was like, sir, what are you going to be doing for Indigenous Peoples Day? And he was like, let me tell you something, it's Columbus Day. I'm sick and tired of people coming in and changing the name. We're proud of that day. It's Christopher Columbus. It's Columbus Day. It's not going to change. In fact, how would you feel if somebody came along, took something that's been around for a long time, and just decided to switch it and call it something else, huh? How would you feel? I was like, but sir, isn't that the spirit of Columbus Day? I'll be honest, I'm not a big fan of Indigenous Peoples Day, the title. I don't like it. I think it's a cop-out. I don't think it's specific enough. It's lazy. You know, Indigenous Peoples Day. Which Indigenous people, where, how? Give me something, you know? You know what I liked about Columbus Day? Is that it was specific. Yeah. It was a specific, inspiring story of a man by the name Christopher Columbus, who believed against all odds that he could sail the wrong way around the world and get to India from the other side. Nobody believed in him. Yeah. He was like, I'm gonna do this. They were like, you can't do it, Chris. And he was like, I'm gonna do it. They're like, you can't do it, Chris. He's like, I'm gonna do it. They're like, you can't do it, Chris. And he raised money. He fought for years. He finally got the ships and he sailed the wrong way around the world and he didn't do it. Not only did he not land on the other side of India, he found himself in a place called the Caribbean, and he was like, this is India. And the people there were like, I don't know if you've been eating some of the herb we've been leaving about, but this is totally not India. And they're like, this is India, and you guys are Indians. They're like, brother, we are not Indians. He's like, I know Indians when I don't see them. You're Indians. You're just on the far side, so you're West Indians. And he stuck with it. Christopher Columbus stuck with it his entire life. Other explorers would come to him, they'd be like, yo, Chris, I don't think you made it to India. He's like, it's India. They're like, I don't think it's India. He's like, it's India. He died refusing to acknowledge the possibility that he never made it to India. Not only that, my friends, he never set foot in America. Ever. Ever. And yet, he had a public holiday named after him in America. That, my friends, is the inspiring story of how white men can fail up. You know how much confidence you have to pull that off? Nobody else. That is white man confidence. Nobody else possesses that level of confidence. Go the wrong way, end up in the wrong place, call the wrong people the wrong name, and be like, I'm right, give me a holiday. No one else can do that. That is the level of confidence we should all aspire to. Is white man levels of confidence. Women couldn't pull that off. You think any woman should be like, I'm gonna sail the wrong way around the earth? They'd be like, burn her, she's a witch. You think people of color could have pulled that off? You think black people could pull that off? Wow, really? Black people just gonna sail around the world, wrong way around, get to the place they're not supposed to be, probably get arrested for trespassing. Be like, what are you doing here? Be like, man, my bad, man. I thought I was getting to India, man. My bad, man. I apologize. Man, I don't even know what I was thinking, man. You know what, man? We should have never messed with ships. It never turns out good, man. I apologize, man. This won't happen again. Why would you want to bury your history? So much joy, there's so much to learn. You know? It feels like America's moving in that direction. You know, it wants less and less of its history, wants less and less context. You look what's happening with textbooks. Places like Florida, they want to ban textbooks or cut out the parts of the textbooks that have slavery in the books. And now parents are fighting. They're like, oh, no, take the slavery out. It's making the kids feel bad. And other parents are like, keep the slavery in. It's teaching the children. And these parents are fighting back and forth. I'm like, why? What you don't need to be fighting about. No one should be fighting about this. Kids don't read textbooks. They watch TikTok. If you want to get to the kids, that's where you gotta be. There was slavery. Ships came. Yeah, they... I'll be honest, I don't think that textbook thing is like a real issue. I feel like it's one of those manufactured issues that often happens in America, that gets people riled up and gets them fired up, fighting about something that was never an issue to begin with, you know? And the reason I say this is because that's honestly what I believe. I feel like in America, politicians have done a really good job of tricking Americans into fighting about issues that were never an issue to begin with, so that you don't pay attention to the issues that actually are. You know? If they can get you fighting about what's in a textbook, you don't pay attention to the fact that inflation is out of control. You don't pay attention to the fact that rents are out of control. People cannot afford to live anywhere. Your salaries have never kept up with inflation. Corporations steal billions and billions of dollars from their employees with no ramifications. You don't pay attention to any of that. You pay attention to what's catchy. It's easy to keep up with. It keeps you going. You know? Ooh, can trans people use public bathrooms? Ooh. It's manufactured. Who was actually dealing with this issue? And I mean this, honestly, who was actually dealing with this issue? You know what they did? Some politician out there figured out, they go, here's a small story affecting a few people in a random place. I'm gonna make it seem like this is a nationwide issue, and then everyone starts fighting about it. But who? Who was really dealing with it? Huh? Who of you here has ever been in a situation where you were in a bathroom and all of a sudden a skirmish broke out and you heard people being like, excuse me, is this the gender that you were born with? Does it coincide with the sign on the door? Is your genitalia matching this? Can I see it right? Who's ever seen that? Nobody. Nobody. But they make us fight about it because it's catchy. Who can use which bathroom? Who cares? Who cares? I mean it, who cares? I know someone will be like, oh, but trans people care. They want to know if they can use a public bathroom. Yeah, use whichever bathroom you want. Who's gonna stop you? No, seriously, it's a public toilet. Who is going to stop you? You tell me who's gonna enforce that law. We can't even enforce the idea that people should shit into the toilet. But you think magically they're gonna figure out if you were born this way? Use whichever one you want. Why are we wasting our time? Other people are like, oh, we're gonna fight because you gotta know who's using. Let me tell you something. If you are spending enough time to know the genitalia of the other people in a public bathroom, you're the creep. I'm worried about you. There is a simple rule to every public toilet around the world, and that rule is you get in, you pay no attention to anyone else, you hold your breath, and you get out. You're standing around staring at other people. Like every man in this room knows, when we use the toilet, what do? We get in. Public toilet, you stare dead ahead. You pee, you do your thing. You do not look to either side. If you're fidgety, you look up, you look down. You do not look at anyone else. The guy next to you could start choking. You don't turn your head, you don't shake, you don't move. You hear him like, you be like, hey man, hey, you all right? Yo, hey man, you okay? Yo, you want me to call, hey man, are you okay? Yo, you want me to call? Don't look at me! What are we doing? What are we fighting about? Public bathrooms. And if you know your history, you'll know this happens all the time in America. It happens over and over and over again. There was a time when women had to fight to use public bathrooms in America. Imagine that. There was literally a time when women weren't allowed to use public bathrooms all across America, and they had to fight. And there were men who were angry. They're like, this is crazy. You're gonna have women in public bathrooms? That's insane. Like, how does it work? Huh? What, they're gonna come in there while we're peeing? And then what, they're gonna look at our wieners? Huh? And they're gonna laugh? Huh? Think about this, ladies. There was a time when women were first allowed to step into the workplace where there were no public bathrooms that they could use. So ladies, if you were out and about back then, you needed to pee, you needed to poo, you had to go home. Yeah, and I say poo theoretically, I don't know if you actually do. No, I don't think any guy does, let's be honest. We don't. Like, we assume this on a biological level, but I don't know for certain that any woman actually. In fact, any man in here, think of any woman in your life. Do you know the last time she pooed? I don't think you know. I don't think you know. There is no forensic evidence to back up that claim. There is no smell. there is no stain, there is no nothing. And ladies, I don't know who's doing your bathroom PR, but they're doing a stellar job. Stellar job. Women go to the bathroom, smells better when they come out of it. How? You never know when a lady is pooing, never. Because also, women keep the same amount of time. That's the most impressive thing. You give nothing away. Yeah, a woman's gonna go pee, it takes 10 minutes. She goes to the bathroom, right? Gets there, tinkle, 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 comes out, washes her hand, powders her face, texts on the phone a bit, comes back to the table. You have no clue. Yeah, if she's gonna go poo, same thing, 10 minutes. Goes to the bathroom, does a thing, pellets, 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 comes back out, wash her hands, powder the nose, text her friends, get back out there. You have no clue. With men, you know exactly what we're doing. Discretion is not our forte. You know when every single man is gonna go pee. Why? 2 minutes. Off to the bathroom, we're in there. Quickest thing ever. It's like a NASCAR pit stop. Yeah, we get in, we pee, we come back out, act like we're washing our hands, and we're back. How do you know when we're gonna take a dump? Because it's obvious. We go to the bathroom, never come back. That's the last time you'll ever see us. Your family's putting up wanted posters in the restaurants. Have you seen this man? Imagine, people were fighting about bathrooms. This every time in America, every time. There was a time when black people had to fight to use public bathrooms. Huh? Same thing. Black people were like, why can we not use public bathrooms? And again, people were angry. This is crazy. You're gonna have black people in the public bathroom? How does that even work, huh? So what, they're gonna be standing there while I'm peeing, huh? And they're gonna be looking at my wiener, huh? And they're gonna laugh, huh? Yo, I'm old enough to remember when there was a discussion in America about whether gay people could use public bathrooms. This was an actual topic of discussion. I remember seeing people on the news being interviewed. They'd be like, do you think that gay men should be allowed into the same bathrooms as straight men? I'd be like, look, I don't mind what they do. If they keep it to themselves, that's fine. But just answer me this. How's it gonna work, huh? So what, you're in the bathroom with them and then what? Like he's gay and I'm just standing there and I'm peeing, huh? And he's looking at my wiener, huh? And then he grabs it, huh? And he starts yanking on it, huh? He just starts tugging away and I get hard and I'm enjoying it, huh? And then this is one of the best experiences I've ever had, huh? And then I start coming back weekly, hoping I'll bump into him, and I do, huh? And then at some point we agree to meet outside a nice little restaurant that's cozy and get to know each other, huh? And then a few years later we get married and our families are joined and we live happily ever after, huh? Is that what you want? Why? Public bathrooms. That's why you shouldn't bury your history. Yeah, because if you know it's happened, you know what to predict. You understand why it happened in the first place. Germany does that in a truly astounding way. Look, it's not perfect. It'll never be perfect. But Germany is one of the only countries in the world that has actively paid reparations for what they did. One of the only countries in the world that has actively apologized. And one of the only countries in the world that's set about changing how they see themselves and how the world sees them. After World War II, Germany changed a bunch of laws. They changed the iconography of the country, what you could hang, where you could hang it. They changed their national anthem. Yeah. Imagine that, they changed the national anthem. They felt that the national anthem was a nationalist song that the Nazis used to inspire people to think the wrong things, and they changed it. The original song was a song called Deutschland, Deutschland über alles. And you've probably heard it like in old movies or whatever. The song went like, Deutschland, Deutschland, über alles auf der Welt. And translated into English, it means, Germany, Germany, over everything in the world. And clearly they meant it. Yeah. Where most anthems are theoretical, Germans are precise. But after World War II, they were like, we can't have that same attitude. And so they changed the anthem. And new lyrics. The new lyrics are, Einigkeit und Rechts und Freiheit für das deutsche Vaterland. Which translated into English is, unity and rights and freedom for all the people who live in Germany. Which is adorable. It's adorable. I mean, they may as well have made the song, sorry, sorry, we're so, so sorry. Sorry, sorry, sorry for what we did. I appreciate that they did it, but I wouldn't have gone that far. No, I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't have gone that far. I think Über alles is terrible. That's not a good way to think. But you still gotta have a bit of kick in your anthem, you know? You still gotta have like a, you know? Yeah, I would have found like a middle ground. Mine would have been like, Deutschland, Deutschland, irgendwo in den Top 5. Nicht über alles auf der Welt. Because we are definitely in the top 5 when you think about it. America's number 1, and then you have Great Britain, and then you have France and Spain, and then we are at number 5. Well, actually, Spain is not better than us, so we are number 4. Number 4 in the, oh yeah, but France, their economy is not that strong, so maybe we are number 3 in the world, then you have England above, oh wait, Brexit was not a smart idea, so maybe we are number 2 and America is number, oh, their elections are not that stable, so then maybe we are über alles auf der Welt! America hates change. Woo! America does not like change. You want to change the things? Germany changed the money, the flags, the anthem. Are you kidding me? Remember when they tried to change the $20 bill? Remember that? Yeah, they said they were going to put Harriet Tubman on the bill. People got so angry, they've postponed it indefinitely. People were furious. They're like, what are you doing? They're like, we're going to put Harriet Tubman. They're like, how dare you? How dare you take an American president off the 20? How dare you take, who's on the 20? How dare you take Andrew Jackson off the $20 bill? People are like, they're not taking him off. They're just putting Harriet Tubman on the front and Andrew Jackson will be on the back. You're putting an American president on the back? On the back? That's disrespectful. It's not really. I mean, if you know your history, you would know Andrew Jackson would love to be on the backside of a black woman. So I don't know why you're so stressed. I feel like everybody wins. People were furious, though. And now you're going to suggest changing the flag? Suggest changing the anthem? Whew. There's 2 things I've learned living in America. It's you respect the flag and you respect the anthem. Yeah, I don't know what it means, but I follow the rules. No, the reason I say I don't know what it means is because it's confusing. You'll meet a lot of people who are like, you respect the flag. And I get it, but then I'll see those same people on July 4th and they'll be wearing the flag as underwear. Does that count? Yeah, you looked up and you were like, that flag, these balls. I mean, I would never suggest changing any of it. The anthem, oh, not never the anthem. Even though it could, maybe it could do with a little change, you know? It is a very violent anthem. You know, and America struggles with a lot of violence, maybe like a softer anthem, because it's a violent anthem. It's the only anthem I've ever heard that has bombs blowing up in it. Yeah, there are bombs and rockets in your national anthem. It's like a Michael Bay movie in a song. Everything just blowing up in slow motion. And it's almost like you're threatening other countries as well. You know, it's just like, yeah, bombs bursting and rockets were flaring. Try us. It's like a gangster rap, to be honest. It really is. I feel like the American anthem is like a gangster rap. You know, it has all the same elements. It has the violence, has the threats. You know how much it's similar to a gangster rap? The American anthem is the only anthem where you can put the word bitch at the end of any line, and the song still makes sense. gave proof through the night that our flag was still there, bitch. I love the American national anthem, I won't lie. It's exciting, and I know all the words. I didn't try and learn the words, but I know the words. It's just one of those songs that you hear so much that you know it, you know? Sort of like, nationwide is on your side, like same thing. I don't want to know that, I don't need to know that. Yeah, I wish I could reclaim the space in my brain, but it's there. America's national anthem is like that, because you hear it so much in America. You know, this is the only country I've ever lived in where you play the national anthem when there is no other country in attendance. Yeah, it would be like basketball games, football games, beer pong games, national anthem. Which I know is normal if you've lived in America all your life. You're like, well, what other way is there, Trevor? Well, I'll tell you, as somebody who comes from the rest of the world, that's not a thing. It's not. Most places in the world, you play the national anthem like maybe once a year on like a national event, or when you're competing against another country. That's when you play it, right? Because the other country's there, and you have to prove to your country that you're loyal. That's why you sing the song, you know, because countries are very insecure. You have to reassure them, constantly reassuring. They should go to therapy, deal with their attachment issues, but they don't. You only realize how insecure countries are when you leave your country. Have you ever left and come back? Have you seen the questions your country asks you? So insecure, so jealous, just like, where have you been? Huh? Where have you been? Which countries, huh? So what, you have another country now? Huh? Is that what you're doing? Huh? Huh? Which stamps are these? Let me see, who's been stamping your passport? Let me see your passport. You're like, yeah, damn country. Let me get my privacy. That's why in most places you only sing the anthem when there's another country in attendance. Only time you do it. Because that's what it's for. Make your country feel good. All right? You know what national anthems are in many ways? National anthems are the geopolitical equivalent of that thing women do to us men. Like, ladies, you know that trick you have for that man in your life? Like, whenever his ego is bruised and you have to try and heal it. Yeah? Every woman in this room has a trick that works on every man. Yeah, and right now I know a lot of the women are like, shut up, Trevor, shut up, 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 shut up. It's a beautiful, subtle technique. Yeah. You'll be out having lunch or something, and some guy will come up to the table, he's buff, works out, you know, looks really good. He's like, oh my God, Michelle? It's like, oh, Justin? Oh my God, wow, how are you? And they're like, who the hell is Justin? What's going on? He's like, this is crazy, I can't believe this, twice in 2 weeks? And they're like, twice? When was once? Who is this? I know, oh my God, oh, how are you? I'm doing good, man, we gotta catch up sometime. We gotta talk about college. I was thinking about it the other day. We were so crazy in college. You remember that night? And you're like, you went to college? What's going on here? You can feel your ego slowly withering like a raisin in the sun. And she won't look at you. She won't make anything big out of it. She'll continue the conversation, but they'll gently just put their hand on your thigh and then just start rubbing it. She'll carry on like nothing's happening. I know, those were crazy. I mean, I was a cheerleader. I mean, what are you gonna do, you know? It's just one of those. And then the hand is there going, shh. It's okay, it's okay. It's okay, you're a big man. Strong man, that's right. There's no other men in the world, just you. Look at you, wow. What a big man, yeah. Who, this guy? I don't even know who he is. Oh yeah, no, with his muscles. Oh, I don't like muscles, no. Oh, I hate muscles, they're disgusting. Look at him, oh, working out and everything's in shape and bulging. No, it's disgusting. What, 6-packs? No, I don't want a 6-pack. I don't like 6-packs. That's why I like you. Boop. That's what a national anthem is. You reassuring your country. The American anthem is such an interesting one, you know? Everything that represents America is the anthem. America has the most fun anthem rules in the world. Only country in the world where you're allowed to sing the anthem however you want. However you want. You can't do that anywhere else. Everywhere else in the world, the anthem is the way it is written. It's boring, and that's the point. You can't just change it. In America, you can do whatever you please. I noticed it the first time. First time I really noticed it was at a basketball game. It was the New York Knicks, and they were playing against the Toronto Raptors, right? And because the Raptors are from Canada, they had to play 2 national anthems before the game, which is rare. Right? So that we're in the arena, and everyone's like, and then the voice comes on. It's like, ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the Canadian national anthem. And everybody stood. And then they just played like a tape somewhere. You could tell they didn't care. And it was the song, the Canadian song. It's always the same. It was like, oh, Canada, and something brings us back to do. You know the song, man. I don't have time for that. Whatever. They sang the Canadian anthem. They were done. And then the announcer came back. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please stay standing for the American national anthem. And that's my favorite part. Yeah, the lights will go dark. Someone walks to the middle of the arena. It's always so intense. Complete silence. By the dawn, early what so proud that we... Why are you trying to make the anthem sexy? What are you doing? What are you doing? I never understand that. Why are you trying to make it a sexy song? You'll never be in England and see someone like, remix! God save the Queen, God save the Queen. I save the Queen with sexy sex. Come on, save the Queen. Let's save the Queen with sexy sex. Come on, save that Queen. Oh, man. I'll be honest, I don't think that textbook thing is like a real issue. I feel like it's one of those manufactured issues that often happens in America that gets people riled up and gets them fired up, fighting about something that was never an issue to begin with, you know? And the reason I say this is because that's honestly what I believe. I feel like in America, politicians have done a really good job of tricking Americans into fighting about issues that were never an issue to begin with, so that you don't pay attention to the issues that actually are. You know? If they can get you fighting about what's in a textbook, you don't pay attention to the fact that inflation is out of control, you don't pay attention to the fact that rents are out of control, people cannot afford to live anywhere, your salaries have never kept up with inflation, corporations steal billions and billions of dollars from their employees with no ramifications. You don't pay attention to any of that. You pay attention to what's catchy. It's easy to keep up with. It keeps you going, you know? Ooh, can trans people use public bathrooms? Ooh. It's manufactured. Who was actually dealing with this issue? And I mean this, honestly, who was actually dealing with this issue? You know what they did? Some politician out there figured out, they go, here's a small story affecting a few people in a random place. I'm gonna make it seem like this is a nationwide issue, and then everyone starts fighting about it. But who? Who was really dealing with it? Huh? Who of you here has ever been in a situation where you were in a bathroom and all of a sudden a skirmish broke out and you heard people being like, excuse me, is this the gender that you were born with? Does it coincide with the sign on the door? Is your genitalia matching this? Can I see it right? Who's ever seen that? Nobody. Nobody. But they make us fight about it because it's catchy. Who can use which bathroom? Who cares? Who cares? I mean it, who cares? I know someone will be like, oh, but trans people care. They want to know if they can use a public bathroom. Yeah, use whichever bathroom you want. Who's gonna stop you? No, seriously, it's a public toilet. Who is going to stop you? You tell me who's gonna enforce that law. We can't even enforce the idea that people should shit into the toilet. But you think magically they're gonna figure out if you were born this way? Use whichever one you want. Why are we wasting our time? Other people are like, oh, we're gonna fight because you gotta know who's using. Let me tell you something. If you are spending enough time to know the genitalia of the other people in a public bathroom, you're the creep. I'm worried about you. There is a simple rule to every public toilet around the world, and that rule is you get in, you pay no attention to anyone else, you hold your breath, and you get out. You're standing around staring at other people. Like every man in this room knows, when we use the toilet, what do? We get in. Public toilet, you stare dead ahead. You pee, you do your thing. You do not look to either side. If you're fidgety, you look up, you look down. You do not look at anyone else. The guy next to you could start choking. You don't turn your head, you don't shake, you don't move. You hear him like, you be like, hey man, hey, you all right? Yo, hey man, you okay? Yo, you want me to call, hey man, are you okay? Yo, you want me to call? Don't look at me! What are we doing? What are we fighting about? Public bathrooms. And if you know your history, you'll know this happens all the time in America. It happens over and over and over again. There was a time when women had to fight to use public bathrooms in America. Imagine that. There was literally a time when women weren't allowed to use public bathrooms all across America, and they had to fight. And there were men who were angry. They're like, this is crazy. You're gonna have women in public bathrooms? That's insane. How does it work? Huh? What, they're gonna come in there while we're peeing? And then what, they're gonna look at our wieners? Huh? And they're gonna laugh? Huh? Think about this, ladies. There was a time when women were first allowed to step into the workplace where there were no public bathrooms that they could use. So ladies, if you were out and about back then, you needed to pee, you needed to poo, you had to go home. Yeah, and I say poo theoretically, I don't know if you actually do. No, I don't think any guy does, let's be honest. We don't. Like, we assume this on a biological level, but I don't know for certain that any woman actually. In fact, any man in here, I don't, like, think of any woman in your life. Do you know the last time she pooed? I don't think you know. I don't think you know. There is no forensic evidence to back up that claim. There is no smell. There is no stain. There is no nothing. And ladies, I don't know who's doing your bathroom PR, but they're doing a stellar job. Stellar job. Women go to the bathroom, smells better when they come out of it. How? You never know when a lady's pooing, never. Because also, women keep the same amount of time. That's the most impressive thing. You give nothing away. Yeah, a woman's gonna go pee, it takes 10 minutes. She goes to the bathroom, right? Gets there, tinkle, 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 comes out, washes her hand, powders her face, texts on the phone a bit, comes back to the table. You have no clue. Yeah, she's gonna go poo, same thing, 10 minutes. Goes to the bathroom, does a thing, pellets, comes back out, wash her hands, powder the nose, text her friends, get back out there. You have no clue. With men, you know exactly what we're doing. Discretion is not our forte. You know when every single man is gonna go pee. Why? 2 minutes. Off to the bathroom, we're in there. Quickest thing ever. It's like a NASCAR pit stop. Yeah, we get in, we pee, we come back out, act like we're washing our hands, and we're back. How do you know when we're gonna take a dump? Because it's obvious. We go to the bathroom, never come back. That's the last time you'll ever see us. Your family's putting up wanted posters in the restaurant. Have you seen this man? Imagine, people were fighting about bathrooms. This every time in America, every time. There was a time when black people had to fight to use public bathrooms. Huh? Same thing. Black people were like, why can we not use public bathrooms? And again, people were angry. This is crazy. You're gonna have black people in the public bathroom? How does that even work, huh? So what, they're gonna be standing there while I'm peeing, huh? And they're gonna be looking at my wiener, huh? And they're gonna laugh, huh? Yo, I'm old enough to remember when there was a discussion in America about whether gay people could use public bathrooms. This was an actual topic of discussion. I remember seeing people on the news being interviewed. They'd be like, do you think that gay men should be allowed into the same bathrooms as straight men? I'd be like, look, I don't mind what they do. If they keep it to themselves, that's fine. But like, just answer me this. How's it gonna work, huh? So what, you're in the bathroom with them and then what? Like he's gay and I'm just standing there and I'm peeing, huh? And he's looking at my wiener, huh? And then he grabs it, huh? And he starts yanking on it, huh? He just starts tugging away and I get hard and I'm enjoying it, huh? And then this is one of the best experiences I've ever had, huh? And then I start coming back weekly, hoping I'll bump into him, and I do, huh? And then at some point we agree to meet outside a nice little restaurant that's cozy and get to know each other, huh? And then a few years later we get married and our families are joined and we live happily ever after, huh? Is that what you want? Why? Public bathrooms. That's why you shouldn't bury your history. Yeah, because if you know it's happened, you know what to predict. You understand why it happened in the first place.